Straight from the heart of Nashville, where country legends are made and new voices rise, we've got the hottest new tracks, the stories behind the songs, and the next big stars in country music. This is New on Music Row with Chris Miles. Saddle up, your front row all access pass to Music Row starts now.
Hey, it's Chris Miles, and welcome to this week's edition of New on Music Row. Again, as always, so excited that you're here. Please spread the word. Tell your friends about it. Like, subscribe, shoot out those shares, all that kind of stuff. Anywhere you're seeing this on social media, any of the platforms that you're watching it, because the show is growing, and today's episode is proof of that. We have another interview for you that I'm so excited about. So we're going to get right into the mix of things, talking about what happened last week. We'll talk about the top 5 for this week, and then I've got a very special interview for you coming up a little bit later on in this program. So let's take a look at what I brought out to the table last week. Somewhere over Laredo, Lainey Wilson, over 1.6 million views on the very first day that song actually released, or streams, I should say. It probably got about 1.6 million views on the lyric video and things of that nature. And of course, the live performance at the AMAs. Did you see that? Yeah, absolutely amazing. And the song doing absolutely well. Last time I looked, it was at 8.9 million streams, and it's just growing. So, and of course, that's across all the different platforms. So, again, a great song, and I'm looking forward to what Lainey's got coming up, because there's some scuttle about what she's doing. Can't really talk about it just yet, but it's kind of cool, and I think it's going to be awesome for her fans. Taking a look at the next track that we talked about, Chris Stapleton, Bad As I Used to Be, of course, from the F1 movie soundtrack, or Formula One. I keep doing that. I keep saying F1 because I'm an old fighter pilot guy, right? I used to love top movies like Top Gun and all that kind of stuff. I love the F-14 Tomcats. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent, so I'll digress here. So Formula One, the movie soundtrack, we were talking about Bad As I Used to Be by Chris Stapleton, 8.9 million streams and growing. Of course, it's Chris, so, it's going to do absolutely amazing. But that song, it's a powerhouse song. Did you listen to it last week? If you didn't, give it a listen to it. I think you're going to love it, especially if you're a Chris Stapleton fan like I am. Some great songs, of course, by him. You Should Probably Leave. That's one of my favorite songs of his. And Lainey Wilson, I mean, do we have to talk about her catalog? Heart Like a Truck, Watermelon Moonshine, Things a Man Ought to Know. I mean, right? You know all these songs. All right, moving on to number 3. This one was kind of a surprise. Realize, Kobe Calais featuring Mitchell Tenpenny, a little bit of a duet, kind of a remix, if you will, more of a duet, and doing actually very well. 500,000 streams the last time I took a look at it, and the song is absolutely amazing. Of course, it's a song that Kobe Calais released, I think, somewhere around 10 years ago, and she decided to do it with Mitchell Tenpenny. It's a great song. Mitchell had a song with her as well that you should check out. He did a little kind of back and forth duet kind of thing. Mitchell asked her to be on a song, then she asked Mitchell to be on a song, and absolutely amazing. The song is just, I mean, it was great when it came out and it was just Kobe, but now it's got another flavor to it. And adding Mitchell to the mix, of course, it's got that country flair as well. I think you're going to love it if you haven't checked it out already. Moving on to the next one, Sounds Like a Memory from Rob Fitzgerald, up-and-coming artist, already at 227,000 streams, actually like 228 to be exact. So that one's just growing on the charts. He's up and coming, so you probably don't know too many songs about him. A couple of things to look at with him. If Country Was a Town, The Man My Daddy Made, and Forever Together, a couple of my favorite hits from him. Not really hits, but songs, probably releases, probably the better way to go with that. But all those are great songs from him. Again, that's Rob Fitzgerald, Sounds Like Memory. And then last but not least, for the top 5 from last week, Taylor Holders, This Ain't You Leavin'. Did you check that out? Well, if you did, then you're part of the 223,000, actually 224,000 streams that it got. It was like 223,700 the last time I looked at it, so it's probably going to be closer to 224,000. Did you check it out? Well, if you didn't, here's some other songs of his to check out. Someone You Knew, Nothing But Neon, Time in This Truck. All great songs by him. Another up-and-coming artist. Probably going to be one of the future spotlight rising star artists that we'll talk about somewhere down the road. He's got a lot of great stuff going on in his camp, and he's going to be a household name. maybe not right away, but he will be sooner or later. And if you haven't checked him out, then do yourself a favor. So let's go back over what was last week. Of course, Lainey Wilson with Somewhere Over Laredo, basically like 3 million streams. And then Bad As I Used to Be, Chris Stapleton from the Formula One movie soundtrack, 8.9 million streams. Colby Calais with a duet with Mitchell Tenpenny and Realize, over 500,000 streams. Rob Fitzgerald, Sounds Like a Memory, had about 228,000. It was 227,500, but, you know, that number's going to grow. And then last but not least, Taylor Holder's This Ain't You Leavin', 223,000, 224,000, somewhere in that mix. So let's move on to the 5 picks of this week. Some great stuff coming out this week. Cole Swindell's going to hit basically the leadoff hitter. And if you know Cole Swindell, you know that he produces a lot of hits. She Had Me at Heads, Carolina. I mean, that song was on the radio for, it still is, but when it came out, it was on the radio. Like every time you turn the radio on, that song was on. So you know that this is going to be another heavy hitter from Cole Swindell. We can always move on the title of the song. Great song, singer-songwriter, you know, out of Brainwood, Georgia. And what else can I say about him? Single Saturday Night, which wasn't written by him. I mean, he wrote it, but Hardy actually wrote that song. Speaking of Hardy, he's got another song that he wrote in one of the other artists that we'll get to in just a second as well. Never Say Never with Lainey Wilson. That was kind of before Lainey got really big. A great song, great duet with those two. And then my personal favorite from Cole, Ain't Worth the Whiskey. I love that song. I don't know what it is. I know what it is. I love whiskey. So there we go. Anyway, all right, moving on. Song number 2, Dylan Scott's Till I Can't, I Will. Dylan Scott, you know who he is, right? Do I? Well, okay, all right, we'll do it anyways, right? New Truck. I remember that song was on the radio like all the time when it was out. Can't Have Mine, Find You a Girl. Everyone, like, when I talk to people about Dylan Scott, they're like, yeah, you know that Find You a Girl song. And I'm like, well, that's not really what it's titled. That seems to be the DJ thing. I don't know what it is, but people are like, yeah, you know that song that goes like this? They always do that to me. Have they done that to you as well, too? Yeah, maybe it's just me. All right. What else? My Girl from Dylan Scott. And then last but not least, What He'll Never Have. Great songs by his. All of these were pretty big hits for him as well. But Dylan Scott's got a new song coming to radio this week called Till I Can't, I Will. Check it out if you haven't already. Next up from Kannapolis, North Carolina, Cameron Marlowe, making it to the top 5 for the week with his song 17. I think this song is going to just blow up the charts. And it's coming out this week. And I think over the weekend, you're going to see it do fairly well. Some songs to check out from him: Strangers, Girl on Fire, Giving Up on You, Tennessee Don't Mind. My favorite from him, Burn 'Em All. Cameron Marlowe, of course, up and coming. And I think this kid's set to go. As people like to call him, the piece country music has been missing, is what people have labeled him as. So, again, nothing but great things to say about him. And then we've got another Marlowe in the top 5 this week. Dylan Marlowe with Picture Perfect. That's coming out to radio this week. Dylan, of course, from Statesboro, Georgia. They have called him a sound that basically blends traditional country themes with a touch of rock. So if you're one of those guys that likes more of the rocky country, the outlaw country, Dylan Marlowe is probably going to be right up your stream. Some songs to check out from him: Boys Back Home, I Will When You Do with Avery Anna. That song I heard when it first came out, I was like, ooh, this song's really good. It is Avery Anna's song. He is duetting with her, but check that out if you haven't already. Country in the Clouds, another great song by him. And then my favorite one from Dylan Marlowe, Devil on My Shoulder. Check it out. It's one of those really interesting songs. It's got a great story behind it. I think you're going to like it. I also think you're going to like the song that he's coming out with this week, Picture Perfect, again, from Dylan Marlowe. And then last but not least, rounding out the top 5 here, we got Caroline Jones with No Tellin', up-and-coming artist. She was with the Zac Brown Band for a while. Actually, probably still is. But she's kind of venturing on her own, doing her own thing, doing a solo thing. They're pinning her to bring back the pop country glory of the 90s. We'll see how that works out for her. She's from New York, so she's got a lot of stuff going on for her, of course, with the Zac Brown Band. A couple of songs from her to check out: Chasing Me, So Many Skies, Million Little Band-Aids. That's with Zac Brown Band. That's a really good song. You probably want the Kleenex for that one. It'll probably jerk your tears a little bit. Gulf Coast Girl, and then Going to California as well, which is actually a cover of a Led Zeppelin song. And, I've said this before, there are artists, when they do covers, sometimes they're great, sometimes they're okay. And Going to California is one of those real, I would call it like one of the trippy songs from Led Zeppelin. And Caroline Jones really does a good job with it. So check it out. If you're not a cover person, you don't like it when other artists do other songs from other artists, then don't check it out because you're going to be like, I hate covers. Don't do it. I love it. I think it's great. I think Zeppelin fans will probably appreciate it as well too. It's really good. So that's the top 5 for the week. What do you think? You agree with me? Is there somebody that you think should have been on the top 5 this week? Well, that's what the comment section is for down below. So make sure you click on that. Let me know all the information. I've been reading the reviews. By the way, thank you guys so much. I am blown away by the response already to the show, and we've only been around for a little over a month. So please keep liking, subscribing, everything you do. Share it with your friends, all that amazing stuff. By the way, again, like I said, thank you so much for the comments. You guys have fueled me to want to do this show forever. So as long as you guys keep watching, we're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep bringing it to you. So let's go over the recap again for the 5 picks of the week. Starting off with Cole Swindell's We Can Always Move On. Then, speaking of moving on to Dylan Scott with Till I Can't, I Will. That's a great song. I think that's going to be another, probably number 1 for him. We'll see where that goes. Yeah, I said it. I know. I went out on a limb. But hey, you know what? You got to, right? Next up, Cameron Marlowe's 17. And then after that, Dylan Marlowe's Picture Perfect. And finally, rounding out the top 5 this week, Caroline Jones with No Tellin'. So those are the 5 for the week. Take a listen to them, add to the stream count. Of course, next week we'll come back. We'll talk about the results from that. But in the meantime, a couple weeks ago, actually, I think it was right around if I remember correctly, June 2nd, I shared some information with you about an artist that was in the 5 picks of the week. Paige King Johnson was her name, and she had a song coming out called Country See, Country Do. It's out on the radio plays. It's doing fairly well for her, and I had a chance to sit down with her and talk to her not just about Country See, Country Do, but also about a very almost iconic, I would call her iconic country star from the 90s that hooked up with her and basically helped her kind of boost her career, so to speak. So that's some of the information that we shared. We also talked about some of the things that, make us who we are, so to speak. I asked her the question, what do you geek out on? She answered that. And then at the very end, we shared something really cool. But I think you're going to enjoy this interview just top to bottom, a phenomenal interview. And anyway, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, here's the interview. Hey, it's Chris Miles, and I have the pleasure to introduce you guys to a 7-time Carolina Country Music Award winner for Female Vocalist of the Year, Single of the Year, Country Christian Single of the Year, Country Emerging New Artist of the Year. Oh my gosh, this list goes on and on. Songwriter of the Year, and Tour of the Year. And that, of course, is the lovely and talented right here, Paige King Johnson. Paige, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing good. It is a mouthful to have to get through.
Yes, it is. And even for somebody like me who has been in radio for some time, I was just like, wow. Even as I was doing it, I was like, yikes, that's a mouthful. Anyway, but thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you taking the time out and having a chit chat with us about a lot of things, actually. The first thing, of course, is back in, I think it was May 2nd, is when I kind of told my viewers, I guess, if you will, my podcasters, all about you. And this is kind of where the whole thing started. You saw it, and you retweeted it. Actually, you didn't retweet it. You reshared it on TikTok, which was awesome. Thank you so much. And then everything just kind of started, and it was all because of Country See, Country Do, which came out on that date. And so, what's the idea behind the song? I mean, when you listen to it, it's got a lot of down home country feel to it, but I always like to kind of get behind the veil, so to speak, and the curtain. What can you share with us about the song and where the ideas came from and things of that nature?
Yeah, I wrote this with 2 friends in Nashville, Pete Salas and Todd Paige, and I'd had the idea in my phone for a little while and brought it to them, knowing I wanted it to be fun and summer sounding and everything that any country kid grew up on, right? And um, every lyric of the song is something I have personally lived in my life at some point or another. And just wanted to pack it full of all these like very visual things that once you hear the song, you can like put yourself in that story of what's happening in the moment. And really just like goofed off and had a good time writing the song.
You know what? You can totally tell that you guys had a ton of fun doing that song. Like even when you listen to it, you could just you hear the smile in your voice as you're performing it. I've watched a couple of live performances on it as well. By the way, guys, if you have not followed her on like social media, especially like TikTok, she's got a couple of great videos on there as well. I've got a question about one of those videos, but we'll get to that a little bit later as well. Nothing bad. Don't worry about it. Just I have a thing where I ask my interviewees, I guess you could say, what the thing they geek out on is. I think I have an idea what it is with you, but we'll see if I'm right. So
Yeah.
we'll get to that in a second. So Country See Country Do has been out for about a month now.
Yes.
And like you said, you wrote this song. I'm going to butcher these names, even though you just said them. Pete Salas and Todd. How do you pronounce that last name? Paige. Okay, good. See, I let you do it that way. I didn't butcher it, so it's good. So, what was it like writing with those guys, and what was the energy like in the room? And like, give us like a behind the scenes feel on it, if you will.
Yeah, it was. I can't remember if it was the first time the three of us had ever written together. If not, it was one of the first two or three times, and since then we've written a lot of songs together. But Pete is just he's such a life-loving, like loud, rambunctious. He was a drummer before he was anything else, so like just constantly making noise, which is exactly the energy that I knew I needed for this song, right? And so knowing him and meeting him in the room, I was kind of getting the feeling like, okay, this might be the right group to write that title with. And then Todd just he grew up like me, like a country kid, and so I knew that he could relate and draw from those things too. And so just all of that put together, really, I don't think it took us that long to write the song. And um, even with in the choruses, the back halves of or the front halves of every chorus is different each time, and that's not quote unquote commercial country music, right? But we had a lot of fun just throwing all those visuals, and we had so much content. We're like, how do we push this in there? So that's how you get all the different choruses throughout the songs, and all those different kind of vignettes of childhood as a country kid. And yeah, just so much fun.
So more of a reflection of you as a child growing up in the country music world, and like, I
Yeah.
mean, you got your career started like in high school for,
Yeah.
I want to say crying out loud, but we'll say crying out loud. Why not? Anyway, and that's kind of like one of the things that drew me to you is your story. It's absolutely amazing. The story about your grandfather and things of that nature, and the first guitar he got it for you and everything, and that's got to be amazing to have that feeling in the background as you're writing the song and as you guys are coming together and you feel that magic that's in the air. I think a lot of people don't really understand like how magical it can be when you're in the midst of writing a song. And like you said, you had your ideas on your phone.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think most people realize like how much singers and songwriters use their phone
Oh, yeah.
as like a diary, so to speak. So I think that's tremendously awesome. And speaking of heritage, I can't when I think of country heritage and country icons, I can't think of anybody more iconic than Pam Tillis. And you have been working with her and you performed with her at the Grand Ole Opry. So like where did all that start? How did you make that connection?
It's crazy. Honestly, I still think to this day that I may have been getting punked at the beginning of it. Um, but I mean, just a dream come true. I'm a 90s kid, and so I grew up, hearing Pam on the radio and watching her on CMT and WAC and all the things. And um, our first connection started back in 2020. She was off the road just like everybody else was during COVID, and uh, she's a nerd in the fact that she loves to just like research stuff all the time. And so she found my music through social media and reached out
Oh wow.
and was like, "Hey, I believe in you as a songwriter. Love what you're doing. If there's ever any, worlds where we collide, would love to, do that." And long story short, conversations kept happening, and she ended up producing a music video together. That was kind of our first interaction together, which was interesting to do in the height of COVID and all the things. But we started with that and produced, I want to say, 2 or 3 more music videos together after that, and worked on photo shoots together, and ultimately ended up singing on the Grand Ole Opry beside her, which is just like still a fever dream to this day. I can't believe that it happened to me. But so grateful to Pam. I call her my big sister in country music, and she's just been such a great mentor to me, to kind of show me the ropes in country music and help, tell me the things that she had to overcome to try and help me be able to get around, some roadblocks. And so, so grateful for somebody like her for first even believing in me, but being able to, being willing to stick her neck out for me.
I think that's an amazing story in and of itself. I mean, you think about some of the other artists who have gotten their career started because of social media or because of streaming and things of that nature, and that's it's awesome that you have that story as well, which it's pretty cool. You also have a hometown story as well, though, too. Like I said at the beginning of the show, you're the 7-time Carolina Country Music Award winner, but your roots are really deeply rooted in North Carolina. So how's that hometown connection like shaped you as a singer-songwriter, and how it created your fan base, and how is all of that kind of gelling together, so to speak?
Yeah, well, I'm a firm believer that you can't write something unless you know it. And so
Uh,
all of the experience that I pull from in writing, whether it's for myself or with, other artists, for sure comes from how I was raised and where I was raised in North Carolina. And I grew up on a horse farm. I lived every line of every country song ever made, um, and had and that truly was a luxury that I didn't realize was a luxury at the time. And two, growing up in a small town, when I started playing music, word starts traveling fast, and so I quickly became the little girl who sings, or the little girl who's learned to play guitar. And so I would get called up to go play at people's, backyard family reunions, or at their tailgates, or in church, and all these different things. And that was how I kind of cut my teeth in performing, and grew up performing and learning how to do all of that in a very loving, encouraging community of people. And I think that is truly one of the biggest luxuries of growing up in a small town. And it influenced me so much. And those people who were kind of the first believers in me as an artist are the reason that I ultimately had the courage to move to Nashville. And they're the people that I kind of lean on, and the things that I lean on the days that it's hard and I'm on the road and I'm missing home. It's truly having that support system and those people around you that have really been there from the beginning. Um, I think that can sometimes make or break an artist, and so I'm very lucky to have that behind me.
Yeah, absolutely. A tremendous blessing, if you will, to be able to do that. I have some friends who are in the industry as well and heard their stories as well. And one of the things they always say, and I'm glad that you said it as well too, was that they have that connection to somebody, whether it's a family or a friend or something like that, they can just keep reaching out to. Because one of the things that a lot of people may or may not realize is that life on the road is not what you think it is.
Yeah,
It's not the creature comforts that you're used to. So
right.
I thank you for sharing that as well. I appreciate that. So the NC Music Ambassadorship has kind of helped you create a lot of things. If I think I remember if this correctly, you did it for like it was an 18-month like situation.
Yeah.
What kind of experiences did you get out of that, and how has that helped you create your storytelling? Because as you like to say, you have that down home stage presence, but you have the magic of storytelling through songwriting. So I'm wondering how that connects the puzzle pieces together.
Yeah, well, kind of pulling from that, growing up on the farm, I was a 4-H kid and an FFA kid, and the being the first ever musical ambassador for the Department of Agriculture in North Carolina, it kind of was this like crazy answered prayer of marrying my loves for agriculture with my love for music, and I had never really dreamed that there would be a time or space where those two things would collide for me, career wise. And so when I got the call from the Department of Agriculture, um, just so insane, right? To be recognized by an entity that large, and somebody that I had, been in cahoots with, if you will, in the past in different ways of being an advocate, and now them kind of coming to me and realizing, where I am in the music industry and wanting to help push that forward, as well as using me as a spokesperson. And so, it was really cool being able to kind of navigate that and figure out what it looked like alongside the Department of Agriculture and their marketing team. And I got to spend 18 months traveling around my home state of North Carolina and visiting with different middle school and high school students and talking about my passion for agriculture, and forwarding that in careers, as well as my love for music and kind of what my journey has been. And just such a blessing, and still get to go and do events here and there with the Department of Agriculture and see all of my friends over there. And two, they're two passions that are very near and dear to my heart. And to have them kind of come together in that way was just amazing.
It sounds absolutely amazing, and life on the road is amazing as well too. You have a very long list of the achievements that you've accomplished, but you also have a very long list of the artists that you have opened up for, so to speak.
Yeah.
Uh, I know when I was talking about you on the show, I think I think I hit every single one of them. So we'll let the fans watch that show if they want to see everything. But I
Yeah.
mean, just to capture a few of them here, some of the bigger names: Clint Black, Kane Brown, Gabby Barrett. I am going to go look at my other notes here because I know that there was like 7 or 8 other people too, and some of them I was kind of like, oh my god, like him, and like Diamond Rio was one of them, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly. And I mean, the list, just like we said earlier, the list just goes on and on. So each one of these groups, bands, artists has a different sound.
Yeah.
And some artists out there, there's a creative situation that happens when you guys are out on the road. Was there any creative influence while you were out on the road with these artists? Was there anything that you learned while you were watching them? What kind of insider view can you give us there?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to be learned as an independent artist, baby artist, whatever you call yourself. Um, and I never take those opening slots lightly. Some people would be like, "Oh my gosh, we played the set. Let's go party." I'm like, "Do not influence me in any way. I'm clocked in right here. I am not doing anything else. I'm going to be watching these people, studying their set, studying their interactions as a band. I mean, everything is just down to the T insane." And um, being able to learn from those and have that firsthand experience. And not that there was a whole lot of like one-on-one getting to go on their bus. Obviously, I would have loved that, but I can understand that privacy is privacy. But um, just them taking the time to give me a minute or two and encouraging me in what I'm doing, or take a picture or anything like that, has been so influential on me. And you don't forget the people who treat you well when you're a nobody, and that's truly will be near and dear to my heart for forever.
That's really cool. Really cool. So, things near and dear to your heart. I have to imagine that the Country Yard Party is something that is near and dear to your heart because it's your own festival,
Yes.
and not a lot of artists do this. That's incredible. I can think of a couple of artists that I know of, from different genres. A festival that I attended back when I was, in my younger days. Metallica is the group, but they did their own like festival. It was the Orion Music and More Festival. So I've been in that environment, and I have to imagine it's about the same thing. Obviously, it's more of a country feel than what we were talking about previously. But what's the key there? How do you stay grounded? How do you? What's it like to put that all together? I mean, were you involved in the day to day and everything, or was it like where did that all come from? I mean, this industry just moves so fast. It's got to be
Yeah.
so much to talk about there.
Yeah, putting on a festival is a lot of work, and maybe I didn't even realize how much work it was at the beginning when we came up with the idea. But it all kind of came out of, well, actually we had planned it even before COVID and the shutdowns had ever happened. But unfortunately, it was planned for May of 2020. And so, what had kind of started as just me wanting to get together with some friends and put on this outdoor experience in my hometown, then once COVID shutdowns happened and we ended up having to push it a little bit further into the summer, um, really kind of became this very much needed event for neighbors and friends to be able to come together and enjoy live music again. For honestly, it was some of the people's first time kind of getting back and enjoying live music again. And um, just so special and so many emotions and memories that were wrapped up in it, and continued doing it and bringing in different artists. And for me, yes, it is a lot of work, and me and my family really are the team behind it that put it on. um, and it's so much work leading up to it, but it's so rewarding. And it's a time that I kind of get to watch my other friends perform, which is very rare for us artists that are on the road all the time, unless you are in some kind of festival lineup. And so it is a lot of fun to be able to do, and it's continued to morph over the years. And some years it gets crazier than others, and so we don't necessarily do outdoor festivals, and we do kind of some songwriter things, and so it's constantly changing.
So songwriters more of like an intimate setting, maybe where there's a couple of you on stage at the same time, and you kind of just giving the stories behind the songs, and then you play them, and like that kind of feel.
Yeah, like around basically bringing Nashville to
Okay.
North Carolina. And that's also one of my favorite ways of consuming music, as a listener, is just sitting and watching the writers or the artist with a guitar or piano and just hearing stories behind it. I'm such a nerd. So I love to hear like
No, no, you
who
are
wrote the
so not.
title, who was having a bad day that day, like what happened to
Exactly.
bring this song into the world. And I love that stuff.
Well, exactly, and that's something that I would encourage everybody to be a part of. If there is something like that in your area, I know we have something like that here in our area, and I've been to a couple of them. And it if you're a fan of whatever genre of music that you're a fan of, in particular, we're talking about country music here. If you can get to one of those singer songwriter things, it is so much. It's so eye opening, and I don't know if you have the same experiences here as I have, but there is a connection like no other that you can make with the artists and the fans when you're in a more intimate setting like that, and you're really talking about what inspired you with the songs that you're writing. I know, being somebody on the opposite side of the table, I know that some of the groups that I've seen, some of the artists that I've seen, I'm like, oh man, now I love that song like 6 times more than I did before.
It does. Well, it gives you a connection because you hear why it was that that artist, whether they were a writer, why they brought that idea, or whether they just cut the song, why what was it that brought that song so close to them. And B, it also just like humanizes the artist. I don't know if that's a
Mm.
word, but it brings them kind of back down to just a regular level, and you're like, wow, on the surface they are just a human that has had good stuff, bad stuff, emotional stuff, whatever happened in their lives. And because of that, this is why they related to this song, just like I relate to this song. And so it is a really special thing.
Is the relation of country see country do right there, all wrapped up in one great big bundle. I totally appreciate that. I totally love that as well too. So country see country do has been out for we'll call it 4 weeks at this point. What else is on the horizon for you? Got a is there an album coming around? What other inside information can I give my fans that you haven't said to anybody else yet? What's going on for the rest of 2025? Let's get
I wish I knew, honestly. Says every
Hey, that's
country
okay.
artist ever. No, I mean, as far as show wise, my whole year is planned out, and that is such a blessing to know where and when I will be for the rest of the year. And so on that front, all of my shows are kind of in motion. As far as music goes, Country See Country Do is at Country Radio, and we all know that that lifespan is never telling. So we're holding other singles right now while Country See Country Do is at radio. And we have a music video for it coming to kind of give a second wave into the release. That'll be coming soon. Um, and we do have a couple more singles that we are holding in our pockets for the rest of the year. And as a songwriter and an artist, I feel like I get so excited about the newest thing, and I can tell, like, in my art how I'm becoming a better songwriter and a better storyteller, and, so this new stuff I'm really excited about, and, just continuing to kind of morph the sound of Paige King Johnson and what that is to listeners.
Awesome. It's good to hear that you've got some other stuff in the works. I know some of the people that I've talked to were like, we need to know, we need to know, we need to know. And I'm like, I'll ask, but she's probably gonna, keep it
Just
close
tell
to the
them
belt. It's
they
kind of
know just as much as I do.
it's well, they're going to be watching, so you just told them anyway. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, I totally get that and totally understand that as well. Like I said, I've worked with some artists on my side as well too, and I know how it goes. You have to see where the reception is. So with that being said, everybody go out, listen to Country See Country Do, stream it as much as you possibly can, share it with your friends, tell everybody about it, because I tell you what, the minute you hear the song and the minute that a couple of my team heard the song, they were like, oh my goodness, wow, where's this girl been? And I'm like, well, probably North Carolina, but moving between there and Nashville. I mean, come on, read the bio, please. What's going on here? Anyway, but thank you so much for joining us. I have one last question for you. This is kind of the trademark question, so to speak, because there are some things that I've told my fans that I geek out on, some things that, I let them kind of into my world so they can kind of see some things. Like one of my artist friends and I, we totally geek out on the Marvel thing. Captain America is our biggest thing.
Okay.
So, and I just told you, so there you go. But anyway, what do you geek on? Is it more of an agricultural thing? Is there something else? What's that thing that you're like? Because you were talking, you've been talking about a few things throughout the interview. So I'm
Yeah.
kind of curious where you fall in that.
Well, I know the one that you're thinking about. There are a couple. The one that probably everybody knows about, because I had a video on TikTok go semi-viral about my plants. I am
Yep.
a plant lady. I love nothing more that I love than having like fresh cut flowers in my house that I personally planted the seeds or whatever. And so I love gardening. Me and my husband, we have a little garden at our house. Anything, honestly, that can just ground me, like getting my hands dirty, being able to see the fruits of my labor from planting a seed or, whatever, and being able to come out with that. It does give my little agriculture loving heart, it makes it feel good. So that, and then I love being in the kitchen. And when
Okay.
I do have a chance to be at home, I love baking, I love cooking. We try to eat at home as much as we can when I am home, because being on the road, you get really tired of McDonald's and Bojangles and all the things, and you just really crave not only just good home cooked food, but the ability to be able to cook your own food. And um, so both of those hobbies and the things that I geek out about, they do make sense, because it's things that I long for, because I don't get to have them all the time whenever I'm on the road. And so that is usually what I'm spending my time doing whenever I'm at home.
Okay. What's the go-to meal? Is there like a favorite between you and your husband? Mine is pot roast. What is there one for you?
Okay, yeah. So one of our favorites that we constantly circle back to is a Mississippi mud roast. Have you ever had that?
Okay. I have not, so now I'm going to look into it and try to figure out
You
what it
need,
is.
it will change your life on the roast. I promise. Your life will not be the same afterwards. And it's one of our favorite things. So love doing that. And it's easy. Like crock pot meals are the best thing ever. And you just throw it in the
Oh yeah.
pot, forget about it. Um, so it's a go-to.
Yeah, we just did roasted corn in the crock pot this past
Ooh,
weekend. We've never done it before. I would highly recommend it. So there you go.
okay. Okay. I'm here
Just a
for
little salt
all
and
of the
pepper, and
recipes.
that's all we did. There we go. Well, there we go. We just shared one, so that's cool. And I'll definitely be looking into that Mississippi roast. That sounds mud roast. That sounds really good. I'm really intrigued by that. So I'm probably going to do the nerd thing right after this and go check and try to find all the recipes and everything
Do
like
it.
that. So I
Let me
really
know how
appreciate
you
it.
like it.
I will. I will definitely let you know how I like it. I don't know if we'll do it this weekend, but maybe we'll do it next weekend. We got
Yes.
things going on, the graduations and all that kind of stuff. So, but listen, I wish you nothing but the best, continued success, continued blessings in your life as well. I think you've got what it takes, and there's people on my team that think that as well too. We're looking forward to seeing where you go with your career, and who knows, maybe somewhere down the road we'll be able to hook back up again and talk about, like, remember when we first talked about the Mississippi mud roast and the roasted corn in the crock pot? I think that would be totally awesome. But
So
again, thank you
basically,
so
we're
much
just
for your
gonna have a
time.
cooking show.
Right. Well, hey, there we go. There we go. Maybe we could do that. We could do the North Carolina Midwest cooking show. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, that would be really cool. But again, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And I wish you nothing but the best of success in your future endeavors as well.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. And thank you for
I,
spreading the news about Country See, Country Do. It truly does help so much.
I my pleasure there. Don't even don't even mention that. But again, thank you so much. And I'll look forward to hearing from you real soon.
Perfect. See ya.
Thank you very much.
So, wasn't that a really cool chit chat with Paige King Johnson? I mean, I love doing these interviews. I think you can tell from the interview how much I enjoy talking to these artists, getting to know all the insider information. Of course, you know, Pam Tillis, we talked about that and how Pam helped her out with her career. She called Pam a nerd, like she nerds out on research and stuff like that. But, you know, I mean, hey, par for the course, right? I'm looking forward to trying the Mississippi mud roast. I did find a recipe for that, so I think I'm going to get that set up in a couple of weeks here or something like that. I did tell Paige about it. She was looking forward to my response on it. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to make it just yet, but we'll get there as well. So again, Paige King Johnson, take a listen to her on all the platforms that you stream on. Some songs of hers, obviously Country See, Country Do. Now that you've got the inside story, you can kind of go listen to that. Not the same choruses all the time, so things kind of bouncing around, which I think is awesome. It's a great song. Paige has got a great sound, and you know what? I think she's gonna be another one of those stars that you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I remember her when she was on your show. Take a listen to her. You're going to love her. Water Down the Whiskey, one of my favorite songs from her. Baby Don't, another great song as well. Just Like You. And then two of the songs that I like, which probably deeper cuts from her. She does have an album out. It's called Honky Tonk Heart. And I love the title track from that album. Honky Tonk Heart starts out with that, you know, kind of like old classic country feel, and then really just kind of gets in the middle and, you know, makes you kind of want to jump up and down in your seat, bounce around and all that kind of stuff. It's a great song. I think you're going to love it. Check it out. And then last but not least, I really love the opening song from her album Honky Tonk Heart. It's called American Beauty. It's an amazing song, and you get to hear Paige doing what she does the best. So anyway, did you like the interview? Did you like Paige? You got somebody else you want me to feature? Give me a comment. Let me know. Shoot us the emails. We got the little, you know, what is it, social media thing going on over here. Reach out to me and give me some suggestions, some ideas. Of course, again, thank you guys so much for watching the show. Like, subscribe, and leave the comments. I love them. It's awesome. Keep them coming, and we will keep them coming as well, because we'll see you next week. And until then, you all have a great weekend. Hey, it's Chris Miles, host of New on Music Row, right here on the Rise Network, which is how you found us, right? You probably searched for an artist or something like that, and that's how you found out about New on Music Row. And maybe you have or haven't had a chance to check out some of the other shows on the Rise Network. Well, let me be your host. You see what I did there? Anyway, of course, my show, New on Music Row, comes out every Friday. We've got another show that comes out every Tuesdays. It's called Can I Call You Dad? It is hilarious. Andrew Salgado and his dad getting together, talking about things, trivia, some other crazy stuff, and you know, maybe even you might even hear my voice in some of that as well. I've a couple little guest appearances on the show. There's some great stuff in the works as well too. Going to be great episodes. Again, those come out every Tuesday. That's called Can I Call You Dad, right here on the Rise Network. And last but not least, we got a new show coming out right around lunchtime. It's called Lunchtime Trivia, every day, Monday through Friday. Going to be maybe 5 minutes long, something like that. But it'll be trivia questions. You're at lunch anyways. You're flipping your phone. You're doing whatever it is. Why not educate yourself a little bit and see how well you do? Nobody's keeping score, so you know, you're the only one that's going to know if you do bad or if you did well. And you may even be able to use those later on in the day. You could even take them and use them at like the dinner table and have a little fun trivia thing with the kids. Anyway, that's lunchtime trivia right here on the Rise Network. Make sure you check that out as well. Plus, we've got plenty of other things lined up. Going to be some great stuff showcased right here only on the Rise Network.